You have been making your feelings bigger than your God. The way you feel has been your focus so much that you forgot what God already said. You forgot the facts. You feel alone. God said, you are not alone. I am with you, Emmanuel. You feel abandoned. God said he will never leave you or forsake you. You feel afraid, and so you assume the position of a fearful person, never taking the steps that God has called you to take. When God has told you 365 times in the Bible, do not be afraid. Notice that he never says don't feel afraid. Notice he never says don't feel alone. Don't feel like you've been abandoned. He says just know that you are not alone. Just know that you are worth far more than rubies and gold, even when you feel unworthy. Do not be afraid. Even if you feel afraid, don't be afraid. Because you have the authority. He's called you the head and not the tail, the first and not the last. He loved you so much that he sent his one and only son to die for you so you might have life and have it more abundantly. What I'm saying is stop trusting in your feelings more than you trust in God. Sometimes you got to speak over the way you feel and tell your feelings, hey, I call you under captive because you are not what God said that I am. Yes, I feel like this, but the Bible tells me that this is what I am. That's how you have to move. Every time you feel something that's opposite from what God has called you, that's when you have to speak over yourself, because you got to understand it's a spiritual warfare. Okay? The devil is a roaring lion seeking for someone to devour. Sometimes he's devouring you from within yourself. He's using your feelings against you. You wonder why you always feel angry. You wonder why you feel so alone. You wonder why you feel so offended all the time. Why you feel isolated. Why you feel like you're not good enough. Why you feel unworthy. Why you feel afraid. Why you feel insecure. He's using how you feel against you. And you want to know how he's doing that? It's because you don't know what God said about you. And if you do know, you haven't been speaking against the way you feel. Because God, he understands how you feel. But he didn't call you to just be a feeling person. He's called you to be. That's why he says, do not be conformed. Do not be afraid. When you are in your feelings, you forget to deal with the facts. This is why it's important to store up the word of God. This is why the Bible tells us, think on the things that are good and perfect and true. Meditate on the word. Store it up in your heart. Become so much of the word so that when you get attacked by the enemy, though the weapons may form, they won't prosper. Though the weapons may form, they won't prosper.